Last 3 months, our Larry Miller has been investigating the fallout surrounding the closure of USAID and the cancellation of humanitarian aid. On Wednesday, you're going to see part 1 of his 3-part series, Aid Interrupted.
Yeah, thanks to support from the Pulitzer Center, Larry takes us to South Africa and Botswana to show us how organizations that relied on U.S. support are trying to serve communities at risk for infections like HIV and tuberculosis. Here's a preview.
Finding tremendous waste, more than anything else, I think you could say. Probably fraud and abuse can be added to it.
It's really sad. An organization I care a lot about, that a number of my friends work with, and the cruelty is the point with this administration.
The closure of USAID came as a shock to the world and especially to NGOs, non-governmental organizations that depended on USAID funding. Starting in 2003, USAID and the CDC used taxpayer dollars to study, treat, and prevent HIV and AIDS around the world, and particularly on the continent of Africa. Well, when USAID was shut down last year, that left many people wondering what that meant for the future of global health.
It was a very traumatic year. We got a notice on a Sunday evening, I remember, that we had to close our services the next day.
Dowie Nell is the executive director for Out LGBT Wellbeing, an organization that provides HIV/AIDS healthcare services to high-risk groups in South Africa. He said his organization received roughly $2.5 million in PEPFAR funds administered by USAID, helping more than 1,600 patients get life-saving HIV medication. That funding vanished in an instant.
So overnight, we had to deal with a lot of stuff, like how to ensure ongoing treatment for this cohort of clients, and sort of internal issues in terms of your staffing, closing down.
In a 2025 post on X, Secretary of State Marco Rubio addressed the USAID contract cuts. He said the 5,200 canceled contracts spent tens of billions of dollars in ways that did not serve, and in some cases even harm, the core national interests of the United States. On its website, the White House lists examples of USAID-funded programs it says were malicious pet projects of entrenched bureaucrats. They include $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities, and $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. Former USAID officials point out that some of the items listed required context or were programs run by other agencies. NGOs in South Africa say their health programs were anything but wasteful.
It is a bleak picture following the closure of USAID.
Since the funding cut, Nell said some of the more than 1,600 clients he was treating are now missing.
At this point of the game, we know 200 are totally lost. We can't get hold of them.
Health experts say patients diagnosed with HIV and AIDS require routine visits to check medication adherence and more. If patients fail to take their medication regularly, the virus could rebound and potentially contribute to new infections.
I thought that this is the end for us, especially for those who are positive.
One of Nell's clients, who we'll call Brian, has seen the drop-off in clients returning to the clinic since the funding cut.
They told me, what is the use of going there, because there are no longer fundings. Yeah, I did tell you, there are no longer fundings. That doesn't mean there's no longer medication.
Yeah, be sure to tune in Wednesday for the start of our investigative series, Aid Interrupted, right here on WUSA 9.